Good day to everybody. Welcome back to the Formula Sports channel. Thanks for being here. We're talking the Gold Cup qualifiers, the inaugural Women's Gold Cup qualifiers involving the Jamaica Reggae Girlz, right? Last night, huge game at the National Stadium. Ladies and gentlemen, some decent leather roll up at National Stadium last night, people. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was thoroughly impressed with Reggae Girlz B. Reggae Girlz B. No look 3-3 bad at all, ladies and gentlemen. Reggae Girlz B no look 3-3 bad at all. But now gonna lie to you, some decent leather roll up at National Stadium last night. The game ended 1-1, right? We conceded and then we scored, right? Conceded in the first half. We conceded in the 31st minute, right? Through Martha Cox penalty, big baller that Martha Cox, and then we scored through Young Buckley, right? Young Buckley, remember Buckley? We dashed the girl in a World Cup qualifiers in the U17s, that infamous dashway, seen viral dashway. Young Buckley got the equalizer in the 45th minute. I think the game was a good game in my humble opinion, very entertaining game, right? The first half, it was a very competitive half of football. Both teams traded blows. We traded more blows than we gave them more blows than they gave us from an attacking standpoint, obviously. It was a very competitive half of football, one that I would have given us the edge. I thought we were slightly the better team in the first half, right? In the second half, however, we dominated Panama. In the second half, we were undoubtedly the better team. Ladies and gentlemen, we should have gone on to score. We should have won this game 3-1, 4-1. We annihilated Panama in the second half. In the first half, we did see the press. We saw glimpses of it in the first half. But in the second half, we started pressing higher up the pitch with more consistency, with more intensity, with more purpose. And people, let me tell you something, Panama could not manage it. In the first half, it was more tit for tat, more of a sort of like I would want to say a midfield battle, but, both teams attacking each other, trading blows, one team going forward and the other team going forward, that sort of a game. The second half, it was just one-way traffic for the most part. Panama could not handle the press, constantly dispossessing them in dangerous areas, right? They constantly looked vulnerable in the second half, Panama. The second half was played in the Panamanian half for the most part. But now I'm gonna lie to you, Reggae Girlz B looked decent last night. The big letdown is that the end product was not the best. Kind of poor relative to the amount of vulnerable scenarios that we had Panama in last night, the amount of chances that we created, and the amount of times we opened them up and had them exposed. Wrong pass, bad pass, underhit, overhit, wrong choice of pass. When we got in positions to take a shot, not taking the shot, or when we took the shot could have or should have been better. End product, not the best last night. But in terms of overall performance, I thought the girls were very good. Let me give you guys the table of where the girls sitting right now. The girls are bottom of the 3-team table. For those of you who don't know, the top team in the table qualifies automatically to the Gold Cup. The second place team goes to the Gold Cup prelims, and of course the third place team is out. Panama tops the group so far on 7 points, Guatemala 4 points, Jamaica 2 points. So if we beat Guatemala in the next upcoming game, we will get that second spot, and get to the Gold Cup prelims, which is much better than many of us would have predicted the Reggae Girlz be to do. We're still in it. In the final game, we're still in it. We're in a much better position than many of us thought Reggae Girlz B would be in at this point in time. I'm going to tell you something. If it wasn't for silly mistakes, ladies and gentlemen, silly mistakes and inexperience is why these girls aren't in a much more favorable position in the table. They have played better with each passing game. The last two games, the one against Guatemala at the National Stadium and the one against Panama at the National Stadium last night, the girls were the better team and should have won the game. Should have won both games, the Guatemala game in the last window and the one last night. I just silly mistakes and inexperience costing this B team. Again, we saw last night the penalty that we gave away. We should not give away that penalty, the man. Inexperience and silly mistake. You can't go to ground like that in the box. You got to ground like that in the box. You have to ensure so you get it spot on, and even to then it's a huge risk. One, the tackle was not needed at that particular time. She was in control of the situation. She was on the right side of the play. Right. The Panamanian had no clear route to goal. The tackle was just not needed. And then when you go to ground like that, it's a huge risk. I've seen referees give those, and I've seen referees not give those. So it's really a coin toss as to whether a penalty is given on that particular play, even though, in all fairness to her, she did catch the ball. She probably never caught the ball convincingly enough to convince the referee, but she caught the ball first. But the follow-through, the tackle wasn't necessary either. If it was a necessary tackle, I wouldn't blame her. But the tackle never necessary. Silly mistakes. We gave away the penalty. Fair play to the girls, though. They got back into it. They got back into it. Showed heart, showed determination, got back into it, and really and truly should have won that game. Should have scored 3-4 goals easily. Easily. But you can't go to ground like that. And then there was no VAR either. And even if there was VAR in place, would VAR would have been convinced to overturn? Would it have been enough to overturn the on-field decision? Again, a coin toss. Silly mistakes, man, and the tackle wasn't necessary. But all in all, man, as I said, the girls have gotten better with each passing game. We saw structure from the girls last night. Good structure going forward, good structure in defense on both sides of the ball. We saw good structure with a decent level of sophistication as well. We saw patterns of play. We saw some patterns of movement. From a structural standpoint, the Reggae Girlz never looked too bad last night. They looked at a relatively well-oiled, well-drilled machine. People, this is against Panama, you know, people. Panama, where that was in World Cup the other day, you know. This is the Panama A team, you know, people. Martha Cox and co. Martha Cox, them big baller. They on the pitch and I wonder. But I know Reggae Girlz be this. I lie them there tell we. I know the B team this. A which part Bunny Shaw there? So me not see Bunny Shaw. Martha Cox and co up on the pitch last night. Them confused people. Martha Cox and co were confused. Me know say Martha Cox them up on the pitch last night and I wonder if for the B team or if for the A team this. Oh, me not see Bunny Shaw. That midfielder they were always a take on my ball. A Drew Spence that? But a girl that look like Drew Spence. But Drew Spence not look a shorter. People. But no say Martha Cox confused. How Drew Spence looks so tall. But no say Martha Cox them confused. That's how well the girls played last night. Martha Cox up on the pitch and are confused. Easy. Izzy Groves. For Drew Spence, no Martha Cox. And a Drew Spence that. Izzy Groves. That little midfielder there we are take away a ball. And a Drew Spence that. That little midfielder there we are drift past you. Every minute I drift past you. And a Atlanta Primus that. Chinyelu Asha that. Quite a few of the Reggae Girlz last night must be given chances going forward and should be given a real crack and probably even make enough of a name for themselves to get a real shot when the A team comes back. Izzy Groves did brilliantly. Right? A very good player in the middle of the park on both sides of the ball. Chinyelu Asha as well did very well on both sides of the ball. We know the quality she possesses. The two pivots controlled the game. The only player last night that I was a bit disappointed with was Marla Sweatman. I expected better, even though she wasn't playing in her usual deeper lying position. She was playing way more advanced. Didn't think she gave her best last night. But the rest of the girls, for the most part, I think they impressed. The right back, they look like a decent backup to Tyranny Wilshire. Left back look like a decent, Days look like a decent little backup. Could have been a decent little backup to Den. I'm not gonna lie to you. Reggae Girlz B never do 3-3 bad last night. Decent leather then roll up at stadium. This are Martha Cox and Co that went to the World Cup and wasn't an easy opposition for a team to beat. With better finishing, they could have annihilated them last night. I will say this much about the coach. So far, him not look at a bad coach at all from a purely footballing standpoint. I like how the team looks in terms of how he sets up the team on the field to play. They look well oiled, they look well drilled with a decent level of sophistication to their play. However, the substitutions need to improve. Substitutions need to improve. The timing of the subs and who comes on and who comes off, he has been getting it terribly wrong for the most part. And I know me alone I cuss about it. So that aspect of his coaching needs to improve. Buckley, boss, 20 plus minutes before she come off of the pitch last night. By the way, we have to give Buckley our props as well. Young Buckley did well last night. Right, she was being used as an outlet down the right. Gave the left back problems. Got the goal. If I'm not mistaken, it's her first goal for Jamaica. I stand corrected. Her first goal for the senior team. Not a bad goal at all. Not easy to anticipate a cross like that. The youngster did very well last night. I mean, it really and truly not fair for really start calling out names, because to be honest with you, most of the girls did well last night, man. Most of the girls did well last night. But as I say, the coaching, look 3-3 bad, but from a substitution standpoint, you forget a feeling great there. So. Seeing? But all in all, man, inexperience and silly mistakes have really cost this team being in a better position, from being in a better position. But we wish them all the best going into the final game, and they really and truly have impressed. They have impressed me, I'm not going to lie. Did far better than I thought they would have. To give you guys the starting 11 quickly, the goalkeeper Mensah, The back four, the right back butts, did you know, never do too bad last night at all either. She really made a bit of a name for herself last night. The centre backs, Reed and Burnett. Reed was the one that she did well, but you know, made that mistake with the penalty. There's the left fullback who swung in the cross for the assist to Buckley. She did well as well. The midfield four, the centre backs, Reed and Burnett, and Days was the left back. The midfield four, Buckley on the right, Groves, Izzy Groves and Asha, the pivots, Richards on the left. The front two, Johnson and Sweatman, those were the starters. It was a 4-4-2, not a rigid 4-4-2, but not the most flexible 4-4-2, but flexible enough, right? The substitutions, Foster on, Asha off in the 73rd minute. I think Foster was needed in the game at that point in time. She should have come on for Buckley though. Taking out Chinyelu Asha was a joke at that point in time, in my humble opinion. Buckley eventually came off in the 84th minute, 20 minutes after. 20 plus minutes after she should have been removed. The attacking Days came on. But I know that they sister them different, you know, people, I swear. The more attacking Days, the forward player Days, she came on for Buckley. Because you know, one is a defender and one is a more forward player. They are twins, by the way, for those of you who don't know, not just sisters. From my understanding, they're twins. Really, they look like identical twins too. And Johnson out, the forward Johnson out and Walker on in the 91st minute rather. So those were the substitutions. Reggae Girlz B, no look 3-3 bad. They held their own. They held their own last night, I must say. They held their own. As a matter of fact, more than held their own. They impressed me. Them have potential going forward. Seeing, hopefully, they can get that result that they need in that game against Guatemala and get to the preliminary, the Gold Cup prelim. Seeing, knock up the likes button, subscribe and share, ladies and gentlemen. Free and easy ways to support the Formula Sports channel. Take care, guys. Stay safe. And until next time.